Hello, everyone, and welcome to No Buts About It. We have some news to talk about. We got some exciting running back extensions I want to discuss. Then, of course, tonight we also have the NFL schedule release. We will know the full schedule. You know, the NFL is so big, they've managed to turn even simply just releasing the schedule into an event. However, we do have some leaks, we have some confirmed games going on that we can discuss as well. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, first of all, what I want to talk about is probably the two biggest things to come out of, last week and then coming into this week was Breece Hall getting an extension with the New York Jets and then Achane getting an extension with the Miami Dolphins. And both of these players were seen as possible trade candidates. They were put on the trade block by the media a lot. Breece Hall, has had a contentious kind of relationship with the Jets after getting franchise tagged. There's been rumors about this and that and all the above. However, money talks, and Breece Hall signed a 3-year, $45 million deal with $29 million guaranteed. Last season, he had 1,414 total yards and 5 touchdowns. However, he did also have 2 fumbles, both of which he lost. And when talking about the extension, Breece Hall actually said that one of the reasons he wanted to come back was because of Geno Smith. He said this team trading for Geno Smith gave him a lot of hope that they're trying to build something bigger here. And then also the draft class was also something that he cited. He said they brought in a lot of really good players. Now, of course, is he probably, maybe just trying to hype up his team a little bit? Yes. But also, I do think there's some truth to that. I really like the Jets draft class. We haven't done the grades video yet. But you're going to see here in a moment that I really, really do like a lot of the rookies that were brought in to New York, into MetLife by the Jets. And so I think that Breece Hall does have a point here. Now, the Geno Smith trade, I don't know that necessarily moves the needle for me. Maybe it does for him. Maybe he's telling the truth there. Geno Smith just doesn't really excite me after watching him last season. So, yeah. I don't know that really moves the needle for me. But moving over to Achane, he got 4 years, $64 million, $32 million guaranteed. And remember, he was signed after the Breece Hall extension. He also got $4 million in bonuses, and he has 1,838 total yards, 12 touchdowns. He had 1 fumble, but he didn't lose it. And a key here is that Jeff Hafley likes run heavy offenses. This was always the key. If you go back to Jeff Hafley's time as a head coach in Boston College, which is his only time that he's been a head coach so far, he loved to run the ball. That was his MO. So it makes sense that he would want to keep a player like Achane around and would be more willing to give up guys like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. But of course, both these teams have added some big players. So, like we said with the New York Jets, Geno Smith, and I actually added Cade Klubnik to this because I think Cade Klubnik could get an opportunity to start. Geno Smith did not look amazing last year. Now, is Cade Klubnik, going to be this amazing quarterback in his rookie year? Probably not. There's some growth that needs to happen there. But I don't know that, if maybe you just see what you have in Cade Klubnik if Geno Smith is struggling. I really like the addition of Amari Cooper Jr. I think that opens the game up for Breece Hall, having another key wide receiver. Garrett Wilson should love that as well. Edge David Bailey's an exciting name to add to the defense. Same with Minkah Fitzpatrick. Kenyon Sadiq is a tight end that I think would be really good. Again, opening up that passing game, but also establishing some blocks as well. And then you guys all know that I love cornerback D'Angelo Pons as well. So I had to add him to that list. Switching over to the Miami Dolphins, they added quarterback Malik Willis and then proceeded to get rid of everyone on offense other than Achane. They did draft Kevin Coleman Jr. and Chris Bell along with a offensive tackle in Caden Proctor. And then you guys know I love Jacob Rodriguez, so I had to add him to this list. But I think ultimately, my opinion is that Breece Hall is in the better situation here, which is like crazy to think about. But um, there's more playmakers on both sides of the ball for that team. I think that Breece Hall has the opportunity to really take an extra step here if defenses have to focus on both the run game and the passing game. They may not necessarily have to do that as much in Miami. It'll kind of depend on how those rookie wide receivers develop. Again, no Jalen Waddle, likely no Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill hasn't signed anywhere yet, but there's a lot of just schematic things that I think the Jets can do that Miami may not be able to do, and they may not even be attempting to do that. They may be going a different route completely. But I think that the Jets are in a much better place to build around their running back, to build an offense that is beneficial to their running back. So I think that both these guys are going to be handed the ball a lot, but I think that Breece Hall is going to be more effective with it. Just due to the more balanced offensive scheme and more capabilities of what they're able to do. Then, of course, yeah, let me know what you think. Who do you think is in the better situation, Breece Hall or Devon Achane? Both of these extensions had to get done quickly if they were going to happen because, you still have Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson looking for new contracts. And so both of those guys are going to break the bank. So I'd imagine the Falcons and the Lions are now probably in a race to get those extensions done behind the scenes, because if Jahmyr Gibbs gets it done first, then Bijan Robinson's going to try to top him, and vice versa. So getting Breece Hall and Devon Achane done quickly was very important for two teams that are looking to rebuild. We got Chris Vikings here in the chat saying, breaking news, Vikings add a new country for them to win in this year. Achane is the better running back and better atmosphere. But what do you mean by better atmosphere? Do you just mean Miami's a better atmosphere, or do you mean like I would agree. I think that Achane's the better running back. I mean, the stats don't lie there. I do think Breece Hall has been kind of stuck in because Achane's been able to work with Hill and Waddle, and they've had a semblance of a passing game, whereas the New York Jets didn't really have that last year with Justin Fields at quarterback. But do you think that the addition of these wide receivers, opening this up, having more than just Garrett Wilson, having an actual wide receiver group there is going to help Breece Hall? Do you think he can improve? Or I do think Achane overall is probably better, and he's younger. He's very young. I don't even think he's 25 yet, which is just crazy. But so that's big as well. But Chris did also say, breaking news, Vikings add new country for them to win in this year. But Chris, let me know what you mean by that atmosphere comment, because that is an interesting point. While we kind of switch gears here, I'll give you a moment to respond. What do you mean by atmosphere? I ain't in no rush. It's hard to do these by yourself because you need someone to talk to. Otherwise, you're just talking. I'm looking at myself. That's the only person I'm looking at right now. But yeah, I do think we'll look up Devon Achane's age. How old is Devon Achane? I think he's 24. Yeah, Devon Achane is 24 years old, which is crazy. He was born in October of 2001. So he will turn 25 during this upcoming season. Let's see here. How old is Breece Hall? Breece Hall's also 24. That is crazy. I would not have thought that. So they're both very young. Better offense to succeed. Better offense for Achane to succeed versus Hall. This offense isn't great. I do think, like I said, Jeff Hafley is going to go very hard into the run game. Like that is for certain. I think that's fairly obvious. I think he even has said that maybe. But looking at just the way the team is built, that is what he is prioritizing. They're looking at extending a center, Aaron Brewer, their linebacker, Jordan Brooks, which is defensive, but they didn't prioritize their wide receivers, their star wide receivers. They traded one of them for draft picks in Jalen Waddle. They didn't extend Tyreek Hill. That type of stuff, I think, is a clear indication. But my concern would be Jets offense is more pass driven, doesn't give Hall many chances. That's true, but when does that balance win out? That's what I'm arguing. I think yes, Achane will 100% get more touches. I 100% agree. Like there's no doubt in my mind there. But when does the balance win out and you get to this point of okay, we have to respect the passing game so we can't just crowd the line. Because you see that a lot too with these run heavy games. Unless Devon Achane is going to become a player who can just break a ton of tackles, which he can break one or two here, but he's not like a Derrick Henry type guy or a Christian McCaffrey guy who's like super elusive and which he's not as much anymore. So maybe that wasn't the best example. But Devon Achane, I think, is going to be facing a lot more pressure than Breece Hall as well, because those safeties can kind of walk forward on him because they don't have to respect the passing game as much. Whereas with Breece Hall, you have to respect Amari Cooper Jr. You have to respect Garrett Wilson. You have to respect even like Mason Taylor and Kenyon Sadiq. So yes, that there is more passing game. There is less opportunity for Breece Hall, but I wonder what his yards per carry will end up being. Will Breece Hall end up being more effective because of that? That will be an interesting dynamic to kind of watch. And then also the other avenue we have to explore is injury risk, right? The more you're handed the ball, the more you're given touches, the higher risk of injury you have, the more exhausted you're going to be, the more exhausted your body's going to be. That does kind of, worry you when you're talking about someone who you're building your offense around, which the Miami Dolphins are doing with Devon Achane. And one could argue that the New York Jets are trying to do with Breece Hall a little bit. Dolphins have worse wide receivers, but have the better quarterback for defensive backs to worry about. Okay. This is well known that I'm not like a Malik Willis fan. Malik Willis, I thought was super overrated coming out of his draft. That's on record. That's not anything like, and I think the NFL agreed with me. That's why he fell. I think he has done better. I think he's improved. He's learned. He's grown. I don't know that he is better than Geno Smith. Both of them aren't great. I'm not saying either Geno Smith or Malik Willis are good quarterbacks, but Malik Willis hasn't been given the opportunity really to consistently show me he can be a leader. I guess, and also, yeah, like they have worse wide receivers, so I guess it doesn't really matter to me if, and it goes both ways, right? If Geno Smith can't get the ball to Amari Cooper Jr., but can Malik Willis get the ball, or can Malik Willis throw the ball and have someone catch it as well? Like, does that make sense? Like, if Chris Bell can't, not saying, just using Chris Bell as an example, if Chris Bell can't catch the ball, then Chris Bell, it doesn't matter if he has prime Tom Brady throwing to him, right? So, yeah, I'm glad he has gone from the Packers. He is better than Love. Okay, I mean, if that's where you are, then your take makes 100% sense. I don't know that I'm there yet. I don't know that I agree. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Is Malik Willis able to consistently, when these teams have films on him, when they have played against him more, when they, learn his game a little bit more, will Malik Willis be able to, kind of carry the torch? What I do think is really interesting about Malik Willis is Jeff Hafley is going to know Malik Willis very well. Remember, Jeff Hafley was the defensive coordinator in Green Bay. And so Malik Willis being the backup there, he very likely almost certainly threw against Jeff Hafley's defenses in practice. Jeff Hafley knows Malik Willis very well. He knows what defenses are going to throw at him. He knows what is going to, make Malik Willis kind of get anguished, what they need to work on, what is going to give him anxiety. I think that could be very beneficial for the Miami Dolphins. However, the players around both these running backs, I think on the Jets are overall better. But we'll see what happens. I think both teams should be glad they got the deal done. But overall, I do think currently that Breece Hall and the Jets have a better situation coming into week 1. However, you can totally disagree with me. That's totally fine. I think it's really close. Like I don't we'll see. We'll see. Moving on though, Chris Vikings did allude to this a little bit earlier. The international games. We do know some of our well, actually all the international games now. Um, and as Chris alluded to, the Minnesota Vikings um are on this list. Yes, I lost them there at the bottom. Okay. So week 1, and I believe this is going to be a Netflix game. It is rumored, which we'll get into that here in a moment. But will be played Melbourne, Australia on a Thursday night, San Francisco versus LA Rams at 8:35 p.m. Then week 3, we're going to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, Baltimore versus Dallas Sunday at 4:25 p.m. And these are all Eastern Standard Times, by the way, just to help you out. Week 4, London, Indianapolis versus Washington at 9:30 a.m. And then the buys begin. I put that in there because that's 3 international games where these players are going to be traveling and they have no shot at getting a buy. That is a little bit concerning to me in terms of condition, or at least that's when the buys began in 2025. So I put that there. So week 5 is when bye weeks begin. In London, Philadelphia versus Jacksonville, Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Week 6, London, Houston versus Jacksonville, Sunday, 9:30 a.m. You're going to notice a pattern here. Week 7, Paris, Steelers versus Saints, Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Week 9, going to Spain, Cincinnati Bengals versus the Atlanta Falcons, Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Week 10, heading over to Munich. I don't know if I think this is the first Spain game, and maybe is this the second German game? I could be mistaken, but I'm trying to go off memory there. Week 10, Munich, Patriots versus Lions, Sunday at 9:30. Week 11, Mexico City, Chris's Vikings versus the 49ers. That's a Sunday night game, 8:20 p.m. Now, obviously, I'm excited for the Bengals game, just naturally being a Bengals fan. I will say when the matchup of the 49ers and the Rams came out, I was concerned that that was going to be the second time they matched up. And the reason I bring that up is because the Rams and the 49ers could easily contend for the division. Now, yes, we know that the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. They won, a great team. That division is stacked, though. And so that Rams 49ers game could be a very, 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 very important game. And to have it be not in the United States, have it be hypothetically it's Sunday at 9:30 a.m. just seemed like such a waste of a really good team, of good game. Because like there are people like me, and I know not everyone's like this, but I think the majority of people are still, I don't know. But like I go to church on Sunday morning. I teach Sunday school on Sunday morning. So when I get home, I don't the game's already on, it's going on. And I know for other people in different time zones, it's different. But for me, it's weird to come home from church and then immediately have a football game on TV. Because I like to come home from church, eat some breakfast, kind of dink around for an hour or so, and then throw on the game at 1 o'clock. That's nice. Um, there might have been a Spain game last year. I don't know. But I don't think there is. Maybe there is. I don't. These international games, I get lost in them. But it. I was really worried that such a great matchup was going to be kind of lost. That should be like a Sunday night football game. Rams 49ers, that's going to be an awesome matchup. That should be an awesome game. And with the implication that remember when they first announced it, it was just Rams versus 49ers in Australia. If that was that week 11 game, it could have, some playoff implications or division implications. That would just terrify me. Yeah. So Chris is in the same boat as me. I will miss first half of those games due to teaching Sunday school also. Yeah. it sucks, but it is what it is. It's for a good cause, so I'm okay with it. But um yeah, I don't want to have and I'm glad, like, I get people in the military get to see games because of these, and that's awesome. Like, that part's great. But I don't like the travel and the conditioning, and we see this all every single year. The play just is not as good because the players are exhausted. They're not used to this. Like, it's weird, it's gimmicky. And so to have a game like 49ers versus LA Rams potentially be um in a place where, like, their bodies, it's not going to be at their full potential. That I just don't like that. Now it is week 1 on a Thursday night, so maybe it'll be better in terms of viewership and conditioning, hopefully, with, like, it only being week 1. But I'm not super I wish that had stayed over here, but I get why they moved it over there. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be on Netflix as well, which is just a whole nother issue. Um, which I guess, I get the league's going to get their money. The NFL is going to do what they can to get their money, and that includes TV deals, that includes Netflix. But at least the last few times I've watched something on Netflix, a live sporting event, it has been very, very hard to watch it because the servers can't handle the amount of people that are, uh, you know, trying to watch that thing at the same time. Like the Jake Paul fight, I remember we tried to turn that on, and it wouldn't let us because it was crashing. I'll be interested, which I don't think this will bring in as many viewers as what an NFL game would, but the Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey fight, I believe, is this weekend, and I'm pretty sure that's on Netflix as well. So if that crashes the servers, there's no way they're going to be able to handle the Rams 49ers game in prime time. I'm sorry, I just don't see it happening. Um, but yeah, it is irritating. I'm still gonna watch them. That's I think that's the that's the most irritating thing about it. Is it's like I don't really like this, but also because we do this and I just love football, I I have to watch them, or I want to watch them still. I just don't. There's a part of me that's like, I do not support this. I'm silently protesting, but I'm also giving them money. So I don't. That's the irritating part, and I think a lot of fans feel that way. But league's going to do what it can to get money. So those are our international games. We also have our holiday games, which are a bit more controversial. I do get the controversy behind them. We don't do it personally. We don't do a whole lot for Thanksgiving. It's not anything political or anything like that. I know some people don't do it because of politics, but we just don't. Like, it's literally like we'll still like make like green bean casserole and turkey and have stuff. We just don't get together and have a big celebration. So that's all I mean by that. Thanksgiving Eve, which is apparently now a holiday, we'll have Green Bay at Rams on Netflix at 8:35 p.m. So that's another Wednesday night game, which is interesting. The NFL is doing more and more of that. 8:35 p.m. November 25th, Green Bay at LA Rams on Netflix. Again, another Netflix game. Thanksgiving Day, November 26th, 12:30, and these times are all tentative. A lot of them are rumored. 8 p.m. tonight is when the official, times will come out. Thanksgiving Day, November 26th, 12:30 p.m. Bears at Detroit. That's a traditional game. You're gonna have that. Thanksgiving Day, 4:30 p.m. Eagles at Dallas, NFC East matchup. Could be, a big game for the division. Could be exciting. Eagles are very, kind of, they're very good, and then when they're not very good, they're very off. We'll be interested to see in the coming weeks what happens with AJ Brown as well. I believe that'll have some impact on that game. And then Thanksgiving Day, I think this is awesome. Kansas City at Bills. That is an awesome nightcap. I love that game for the just kind of prime time post dinner. Just watching Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen duel it out is going to be so exciting. I think that's going to be really, really cool. I do like that matchup. And then Black Friday, they started this a few years ago. We don't really do anything for Black Friday, and I think that's increasingly common as internet shopping has become more common. And Black Friday Black Friday used to be the day, and now it's like the whole month of November. There's Black Friday deals, so people tend to be at home, just kind of lounging around on Black Friday, at least around here. But 3 p.m. Broncos at Steelers, kind of an interesting matchup. Both of those teams, very very good. Assuming Aaron Rodgers comes back, so that's what we're expecting. That's what the rumors have kind of been saying on Amazon Prime. Now Amazon Prime is my favorite streaming service when it comes to sports. I think they do a fantastic job in their coverage. I know like there are people that disagree with Thursday Night Football, and I still love Al Michaels. I think he's a legend of commentating. But even like with NASCAR, Amazon Prime's NASCAR coverage is so good. They just seem to like really actually care about the sports themselves and not just making money. Which I know obviously money's their main thing they care about, but it is nice to kind of see them at least kind of put some effort into their coverage. And then okay, so after that, we have the rumored Christmas games or Christmas adjacent games. And these are the ones that are kind of weird to me. And again, I'll watch them. I know I'm a hypocrite, but Black Friday, I just sit on my couch and watch football. Yeah, that's pretty much all I do too. Yeah, that I'll be rooting for Denver that day against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Christmas Eve, we don't have times for this, but I'm chilling with family, going to church, and again, I get it. Not everyone's like this, and I think if a game were to fall on, like if Christmas were to fall on a Thursday or a Sunday or a Monday, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's just the way it fell. But to schedule games specifically around Christmas seems kind of weird to me. Again, I'm gonna watch them. I'm preaching from a very rickety soapbox here, but I do get again the criticisms against it. Christmas Eve, Houston at Philadelphia. Um, that game may just be bad. I'm not gonna lie, because both teams have really good defenses, but I think the Eagles' offense will absolutely just outplay CJ Stroud and the Texans. But we'll see. There's still a lot of football to be played between now and December 24th. Then Christmas Day, Green Bay at Chicago. So Chicago is playing on both holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I guess that gives Bears fans something to do on both holidays if they're not busy with other things. Buffalo at Denver, another very good matchup. I don't know why. I just realized I typed Kansas City at Bills. I don't know why I did that for Thanksgiving, but anyway, yeah, Bills, another team that are going to be playing on both holidays. And then the Rams at Seattle, another NFC West matchup being put in to a prime time slot. That should be a very very good game. Again, another awesome nightcap to Christmas. Again, I'll be watching it. We usually go out, and me and my buddies, after all of our family stuff is done, we go out to a bar and have a drink or two together. If the bar is open on Christmas, usually it is Christmas night after everyone's kind of relaxed and needs a beer after hanging out with family all day. But two of those games are expected to go to Netflix, which again does work. I mean, I just don't know that they're going to be able to handle it, but I don't. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I just don't have faith. I'm a Netflix sports hater. Is there anyone like who's recently watched a big sporting event on Netflix? I can't think of anything that I have wanted to watch that has been on Netflix. I saw they just got the Westminster Dog Show as well, and if they screw that up, they're gonna have a lot of old ladies after them. So they better hope they get their servers straight, because that could be bad. Those old ladies, they'll come after you. They can't watch their dog shows. Week 1. We do know the week 1 slate. We do know that kickoff is going to be Wednesday, September 9th. It's going to be a Super Bowl rematch. New England Patriots at Seattle Seahawks. Now, here's my thing with this. I hate this. that's my that's my thought. Because here's the thing. Yes, both of these teams have had changes. Both of these teams, aren't the same as when they played in the Super Bowl. Fully understand that. But we just watched them play. Like the last game that we watched was them. Yes, the Seahawks don't have Kenneth Walker anymore. They don't have that guy. Dude, the dog show is my if you put LOL, I'm not touching that. If you're serious, cool. My grandma loved the dog show. Like I'm not hating on the dog show. I just am laughing at the idea of older women and you calling Netflix to yell at them about the dog show. But anyway, back to uh I don't like going into week 1 kickoff Wednesday night feeling like I already know the outcome of the game, which again, any given Sunday, right? But also, we just saw this game. This could have been Rams and 49ers, or it could have been Rams at Seahawks if you wanted to have the Super Bowl champion play. This could have been such a bigger game, but this game has no playoff implications. This game has no division implications. This game, the only thing it has going for it is it's the first game of the year. And the gimmick isn't there. There's not a real story that, as a storyteller, someone who tries to find stories in these games, I don't like that the only story is, well, it's a Super Bowl rematch. Will Drake May prosper this time? Because even if Drake May does win this time, even if the Patriots do win this time, who cares? Who cares? Like, Patriots fans they shouldn't be going, oh, yeah, we won this time. Like, we won this time. We got you. Because the Seahawks fans are just going to go, okay, we won the Super Bowl. And then if the Seahawks win, it's just going to be like, yeah, they won the Super Bowl. Like, we expected this. I don't know. It doesn't, like, the hype is there because it's the first game of the year, but I just feel like this could have been such a better matchup. This should have been like a big game, a rivalry game, and it's not there. The story isn't there. The Drake May versus Sam Darnold rivalry, maybe they're trying to force that for some reason, but it's not there for me. Let me know if you're hyped for the story, not if you're hyped for NFL kickoff. That's a different question. Are you hyped to watch the Patriots play the Seahawks week 1? That is my question. On a Wednesday night. That is my question. That is my question. Let's move on to the rest of week 1 now. Thursday night football. This is a better matchup. Thursday night. I didn't even realize this. Holy cow. This is that. Well, I did. I guess I did. This is that Melbourne game. But yes, I didn't. In my head, I hadn't connected the dots that they were back to back yet. Oh, yeah. This Thursday night, Rams 49ers game in Australia is such a better game. Just looking at them side by side now. Holy cow. The NFL did us dirty on that one. I know they're trying to expand the market in Australia, but holy, they don't know that. If they, like the people who watch the NFL in Australia know that, but the people that they're targeting, trying to expand to, may not know that. Oh, I don't know. Football's football, but also like, I want a good game. I want a good game. I want to be excited. I want to have playoff implications early in week 1. Yeah, so that's frustrating, but whatever. Early Sunday, Bears, Panthers, Bucks, Bengals, Ravens, Colts. We'll go through these real quick, and then I'll go over each one. Bears, Panthers, Bucks, Bengals, Ravens at Colts, Bills at Texans, Saints at Lions, Jets at Titans, Browns at Jaguars, Falcons at Steelers, whatever. I don't know what the Steelers are. I invented a team. Late Sunday, Commanders at Eagles, Packers at Vikings, Cardinals at Chargers, Dolphins at Raiders. Then Sunday Night Football is Cowboys at Giants, Monday night is Broncos at Chiefs. We have so many great matchups here. There are so many matchups on this list that are better than the Wednesday matchup. Like, I know I'm biased, but Bucks Bengals, at least you have the former number one overall picks going against each other storyline. Ravens at Colts, you have the former like Baltimore Colts storyline. You have that. The Commanders at Eagles, NFC West matchup. Packers Vikings, NFC North matchup. Cowboys at Giants, which they clearly knew was a big game because they have them in Sunday Night Football. Same with Monday Night Football with Broncos Chiefs. So I just, they had all these great matchups, and then they just put like one of the worst ones at that Wednesday matchup. It just doesn't move the needle for me. Like, I am so much more excited to watch Broncos Chiefs or even Cowboys Giants than I am to watch Patriots versus Seahawks. But yeah, anyway, whatever. I'm not in charge of this. Someone got paid a lot more money than me which I get paid nothing to do this. So penny would be more. But yeah, whatever. Bears at Panthers. So we got Caleb Williams versus Bryce Young. Similar kind of thing as Bucks Bengals, former number one overall picks going up against each other. Should be a very, very fun game. Both of those teams have young coaches. Both of those teams are really kind of trying to build into something that they were formerly. So they're both going to be looking for that week one kind of get off on the right step type thing. That should be a very, very exciting game. You'd like to see both Caleb Williams and Bryce Young come out the gate swinging on that. The Chicago Bears, they traded away DJ Moore as well. So how will they adjust with that? They've got some good young wide receivers there, but losing a big name in DJ Moore. Carolina Panthers, they're still kind of just trying to get their offense going. They were very hit or miss last year. They literally went win-loss, 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 win-loss for most of the season. They like to go more, kind of stack up more wins, I'm sure, this season. And what better place to start than week one? That is what we'll be looking for in the Carolina Panthers. Can they compete against that Chicago Bears defense that is very good as well? Bucks at Bengals. This should be a win for the Bengals. I have no other expectations here. Baker Mayfield, usually comes out swinging week one, but this Bengals team should just be better. Both have very good wide receivers. I expect this to be a pass-heavy game. Maybe a bit weaker defenses, but the Bengals have added a ton on defense in this offseason. So I'm expecting, those pass rushers that they added, like Boye Mafe, Cassius Howell, I expect those guys to come out hitting hard against this Bucs O-line. And if they don't, then that is going to be very, very questionable. There's going to be a lot of angry Bengals fans online if, this game's close. I hate going to 3 p.m. start games. I hate going to 3 p.m. start games. I missed the first half of the noon games heading to the stadium. That's true. Yeah, 3 p.m. is a weird start time just in general. I don't know. They get so I honestly feel like, and maybe this will be the reason that this podcast never gets sponsored or something, but I feel like the NFL, like people in charge of the NFL, focus way too much on just getting more football in front of people to the point that it actually dilutes the amount of people watching football. Because like you said, you can't watch part of the 1:00 game because you're trying to go to a different game. And when you have too much of something, you also have nothing at the same time, because you can't take in that product, right? You have to make a choice. And so they're splitting their fan base against themselves. But so I would think they would want to make sure that they aren't, fracturing their fan base, fracturing that group that they have, but they've decided to do that. And you know what? The NFL is like one of the biggest corporations in the world. So I guess I can't hate on it too much, but I do think they need to be very careful. They don't care about the people going to the stadium. They focus on the TV fans. No, I agree. I 100% agree with that. Like, that's true of most leagues. Like, that's why, like, you see it with NASCAR. Major League Baseball, NBA, WNBA, any sports league is going to focus on TV fans because you're going to reach more people. But the problem is when you make the people watching TV make the choice between going to the stadium or watching the game on TV, and just like you are a great example because you are saying, yes, I want to go to this game, but I can't be, or you have to make the choice. I want to watch this game on TV, but I want to go watch this other game at the stadium. You have to make a choice. And thus, because you are probably, and most people, I think, given the opportunity would, you are going to choose to go watch the game at the stadium. They're losing a TV viewer because of that. Now, just one viewer isn't much, right? But if a lot of people are choosing that, then it kind of does fracture the base and it splits them off. It makes it harder to build up that group. Whereas if it's at that 425 mark or 430 mark, then maybe it's less of it. Kind of depends on traffic and all that. But I don't know. 1 to 3 is very clearly going to split your divide, right? But yeah. I have so many thoughts. I have so many thoughts on TV deals and all that, and I'm trying to not get like in trouble. But Ravens at Colts, Baltimore versus Indianapolis. This is going to be a really, really, really tough defense with a lot of added pass rushers. The Ravens pass rush sucked last year. They added Trey Hendrickson. They have Mike Green. They've added some big names here. Going up against Daniel Jones coming off of an injury. And then Alec Pierce kind of being given that wide receiver 1 role. How is he going to, fare against a very good Ravens secondary? This should be a very exciting game that tells us a lot about the improvements made to the Baltimore Ravens. What kind of defense is Jesse Minter going to throw at the Indianapolis Colts? I think this could be very exciting. Lamar Jackson is going to be, obviously the face of this game. But the reason I'm going to be watching is to see what the defense looks like against the Colts. And then how does Daniel Jones look against that Ravens defense? Bills at Texans. Again, Josh Allen going up against possibly the best defense in the NFL. The Texans defense looked fantastic at the end of last year. I could see them doing so again. I fully expect for this to be a fantastic game. Just forcing, Joe Brady, first-year head coach, but he's been there in Buffalo. It's going to force him to kind of grow and find ways to use Josh Allen in ways that maybe he hasn't been used before. They've also got James Cook, of course. And then I want to see how Woody Marks does as well. That Buffalo defense isn't as impressive as the Texans defense, but it does have some playmakers on it. How does Nico Collins look? How do we get Tank Dell? Like what are we expecting here with the Texans? And I think this is another team similar to the Panthers and Bears that is going to need to maybe not win, but come out hitting to, say, hey, our offense is here and we're ready to play, because they did not look good at the end of this last season. Saints at Lions. This should be easy pickup for the Lions, in my opinion. Saints, yes, they've got some young improvements. They've got some good players, but I think the Lions should run the house easily on this one. Jets at Titans. This is, of course, the Robert Saleh revenge game is going to be how this is marketed. For new head coach of the Titans, former head coach of the Jets, him versus Aaron Glenn. Who will win? Got Cam Ward versus Geno Smith. Not a whole lot to market here beyond the head coach revenge game, but we do have a lot of questions about both of these teams, so it'll be interesting to see how they play. Does Cam Ward this is kind of a, deep pull, a bit of a reach, but the Jets had no interceptions, whereas Cam Ward had a turnover issue last year. So which of those streaks will kind of break? Will Cam Ward be more careful with the ball, or will the Jets continue to not be able to get turnovers? That'll be interesting to watch. Will they get their first turnover in 2 seasons? Browns, or first interception in 2 seasons. They might have had some fumble pickups. Browns at Jaguars. I can't really comment on this game because I don't know who the starting quarterback for the Browns is. If it's Deshaun Watson, I don't care. If it's Shador Sanders, I'll care a little bit more, or Dylan Gabriel, or Taylor Green. If we want to get real fancy, if it's Taylor Green, I'll definitely be watching. But yeah, Browns at Jaguars. I think the Jaguars should win this, but I will be interested to see who the starting quarterback is and how they look. Falcons at Steelers. Again, Aaron Rodgers, you presume he comes back. This game will be big if uh, you come into it looking at Will Howard or Drew Aller, but I assume Aaron Rodgers will be there. It doesn't move the needle a ton for me. It is interesting the Falcons, got Michael Penix Jr. coming back off injury, hoping he can play week 1. We'll see what happens there. Late Sunday, Commanders at Eagles, NFC East matchup, clear as day, good matchup, solid hitters right there. Commanders and Eagles should be a really fun game. You got Jaden Daniels coming back off injury. I think that should be very exciting. Going up against the Eagles, potentially without AJ Brown, but they've got Mekhi Lemon, so that should be fun to watch. Seeing how they decide to use him and Devontae Smith in that Week 1 matchup. So Commanders at Eagles, NFC East implications right off the back. Same thing with Packers at Vikings, division implications. Packers heading to Minnesota. Chris, are you going to this game? Is this the game that you're excited for? Jordan Love going up against JJ McCarthy. Will JJ McCarthy finally hit his stride this season? The Vikings have made some additions. They've had some help, lost some key players as well, but the Packers as well have lost players. The Packers are going to be looking to kind of get Josh Jacobs going early. Will he have a rebound season? He had some good games last year, but he wasn't what we expected him to be. And then, of course, those wide receivers, they kind of just need a guy to finally take that wide receiver 1 position. I don't know that they've really done that. They lost, what's his name? Went to the Patriots. Starts with an R. I'll get it. Romeo Dobbs. Nailed it. Okay. They lost Romeo Dobbs. That'll be big. Chris says, I'm going. I have season tickets and always bring my wife to the first home game of the season. That's awesome. That's great that you got season tickets. That's so cool. Especially with I know you're a big fan, so I'm glad you were able to get some season tickets. That's nice that you bring your wife too. It's a good tradition you guys have. I like that. Packers at Vikings. Yeah, should be a good matchup. Obviously, Chris here's rooting for the Vikings. Hopefully that's a good game for you. Even if you guys end up losing, I hope it's at least not a blowout or something, which I don't think it will be. Both of those offenses have questions and both of those defenses have questions. Neither of which that I know will be able to answer after week 1, but it should still be a matchup or good matchup nonetheless. Cardinals at Chargers. This is a Chargers win for me. And I'm sorry. I know we have a lot of, and I'm thankful that we have a lot of Cardinal support here, but I think, I think the Chargers are just much better. Yes, they have questions. Yes, they're not the most complete team in their division, but the Cardinals have so many more questions. Like, how is this defense going to work? Is Jeremiah Love going to be like who we expect Jeremiah Love to be? These wide receivers, there's going to be a lot of overreactions to this game as well. Like, if Jeremiah Love doesn't come out and have 100 rushing yards, it's going to be all over the place. Marvin Harrison Jr., if he struggles, it's going to be all over the place. So, yeah, I think this should be a Chargers win. But Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, Carson Beck, we'll see who ends up being the starter. Jacoby Brissett has been named the starter, but I think he's still holding out for a better contract. So hopefully that's resolved by September, but we'll see. Dolphins at Raiders. Again, this is just another matchup that this does nothing for me. I like Fernando Mendoza. I do think the Raiders have done a ton to improve their team, but I don't know that they're there yet. And the Dolphins, like Malik Willis just doesn't, and it's not even like all on Malik Willis. It's just that like they have so many unknowns that like this game doesn't wow me. it's such a bleh game, but it's got to be played. Hopefully, Fernando. I'm rooting for Fernando. I hope he comes out swinging. I hope he does great. But um, week one against the Dolphins, I'm not sure that we're going to really know much about Fernando after watching him against the Dolphins defense, who just got rid of pretty much everyone. Um, Chris said, I'm spoiled. My dad pays for the tickets. I just get to go to some games. Well, that's really nice. Oh, you're right. I forgot that the Raiders had Cousins. See, that's even worse. Like, I like Kirk Cousins, but the entire motivation behind this thing was having Fernando Mendoza play week one, like having him be like getting to see him. But you're right. You're right. I forgot they had Kirk Cousins. Didn't you forget they had Kirk Cousins like 2 weeks ago? We both forgot they had Kirk Cousins now. We can go 1-on-1 there. But I yeah, that game's really boring now. I'll watch it still for the podcast. That might be one that I watch afterwards, though. I do try to watch all the games so that we can talk about them. Don't always get around to it because life happens. But Sunday night we have Cowboys at Giants. This should be. I really like the Giants. What they're building. They've got Jackson Dart's exciting. Cam Scatterbo is exciting. Arvell Reese is going to be exciting. I think this game is going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. NFC East matchup, obviously, with playoff implications, division implications. Very, very good early Sunday night football matchup. They have marketable players on both teams here with CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and then on the other side you have Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, Malik Neighbors, who's hopefully going to be back for week one. He just had some cleanup work done on that knee. Hopefully he returns, but we will see. Then Monday night, Broncos at Chiefs. This is a good matchup. Good matchup. I feel like Tom McGovern, I think that's his name. The good band name, bad band name guy on Instagram and TikTok. Good matchup, bad matchup. Monday night, Broncos at Chiefs. Bo Nix, hopefully going to be back from that leg injury he suffered in the playoffs. But Broncos at Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes also hopefully going to be back. Two star quarterbacks, AFC West, coming off of injury. What will they be? There's some questions there. Bo Nix getting Jalen Waddle. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce is coming back as well. There's a lot here. When is Mahomes due back from injury? That is a great question. His injury was interesting because it wasn't like one. If I remember correctly, it wasn't like one event. It was just kind of. He's targeting a week one return against the Denver Broncos after suffering a torn ACL and LCL in late 2025. General manager Brett Veach said this month that Mahomes is way ahead of schedule. So he may even make it back to OTAs later this month. So that would be a very, very good sign for Chiefs fans. But those ACL injuries can linger. And take almost a year to recover from fully as well. So I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see him, running around as much as we're used to or scrambling. Whereas Bo Nix is expected to be full participant in training camp after suffering a broken ankle sustained in January. So Bo Nix is expected to be back in July. So that'll be good for the Denver Broncos as well. But yeah, Bo Nix relies on the run game a little bit. That ankle injury hopefully won't linger as much as what an ACL might. We will see. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I always enjoy listening, Josh, but I got to go. Skull Vikings and go Bucks week one. You're ridiculous. You should be reading. The Bucks are a NFC team. You should be rooting against them for the playoffs. But anyway, thanks, Chris, for joining. Thank you, everyone who's joined, who's hopped in. I appreciate all of you so much. We actually have to go as well. So that was great timing, Chris. Thank you so much, as I just said, for joining. Let me know what matchup you are most excited for. We're going to get the full schedule here in about 3 hours. Comment down below. Let me know what you're most excited for. Until next time, though, go do something nice for someone.